The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 19, verse 1, 1 Samuel 19 and 1, 1 Samuel, the 19th chapter, and the first verse. Jonathan helps David. Saul told his son Jonathan and his officers to kill David, but Jonathan liked David very much, so he warned him, be careful, Saul is looking for a chance to kill you. You didn't say, my dad is looking for a chance to kill you. In the morning, go into the field and hide. I will go into the field with my father. We will stand in the field where you are hiding. I will talk to my father about you, and I will tell you what I learned. Jonathan talked to his father Saul. Jonathan said good things about David. He said, you are the king. David is your servant. David hasn't done anything wrong to you, so don't do anything wrong to him. He's always been good to you. He risked his life when he killed the Philistine. The Lord won a great victory for Israel. You saw it and you were happy. Why do you want to hurt David? He's innocent. There's no reason to kill him. Saul listened to Jonathan and made a promise. He said, as surely as the Lord lives, David won't be put to death. So Jonathan called David and told him everything that was said. Then Jonathan brought David to Saul, and David was with Saul. David was with Saul as before. Saul tries to kill David. Once again, there was war with the Philistines, and David went out to fight. He defeated them badly, and they ran away. Later in Saul's house, David was playing the harp. Saul was there with his spear in his hand. Then an evil spirit from the Lord came on Saul. Saul threw his spear at David and tried to pin him to the wall. David jumped out of the way, so the spear missed him and stuck to the wall. That night, David ran away. Saul sent men to watch David's house. They stayed there all night. They were waiting to kill David in the morning, but David's wife, Michal, warned him. She said, you must run away tonight and save your life. If you don't, you'll be killed tomorrow. Then Michal let David down out of the window, and he escaped and ran away. Michal took the household god, put clothes on it, and put goat's hair on its head. Then she put the statue in the bed. Wait a minute. What is Michal doing with a household god? Saul didn't believe in idolatry. David didn't believe in idolatry. What is Michal doing with the household god? Wow. Saul sent messengers. Never saw that before in that light. Saul sent messengers to take David prisoner, but Michal said, David is sick. The men went and told Saul, but he sent the messengers back to David. Saul told these men, bring David to me. Bring him lying on his bed if you must, even if it kills him. The messengers went to David's house. They went inside to get him, but they saw it was only a statue and that its hair was only goat's hair. Saul said to Michal, why did you trick me like this? You let my enemy escape, and now he's gone. Michal answered Saul, David told me he'd kill me if I didn't help him escape. Liar. David goes to the camps at Ramah, but at least she tried to save him. Still a lie. All liars. David escaped and ran away to Samuel at Ramah. He told Samuel everything that Saul had done to him. Then David and Samuel went to the camps where the prophets stayed. David stayed there. Saul heard that David was there in the camps near Ramah. So he sent some men to arrest David. But when they came to the camps, there was a group of prophets prophesying. Samuel was standing there leading the group. The Spirit of God came on Saul's messengers, and they began prophesying. Saul heard about this, so he sent other messengers, but they also began prophesying. So Saul sent messengers a third time. They also began prophesying. Finally, Saul himself went to Ramah. I guess he prophesied. Saul came to the big well by the threshing floor of Siku. He asked, where are Samuel and David? The people answered, in the camps near Ramah. Saul went to the camps near Ramah. The Spirit of God came on Saul, and he began to prophesy. He prophesied. He was prophesying. He prophesied all the way to the camps at Ramah. I wonder what he was saying. He prophesied. What does that mean? What were you saying? Saul even took off his clothes. That was the wrong spirit. He lay there naked all day through the night. Now, you know that wasn't God. So he wasn't prophesying too much. So even Saul prophesied there in front of Samuel. That is why the people said, is Saul also one of the prophets? Are you laying there naked all day prophesying in front of Samuel? That's the devil. That ain't nothing but the raw devil. That ain't God. That's not God. God's not pleased with that kind of foolishness. 1 Samuel 20, David and Jonathan make an agreement. David ran away from the camps at Ramah and went to Jonathan and asked him, what have I done wrong? What is my crime? Why is your father trying to kill me? Jonathan answered, this can't be true. My father isn't trying to kill you. My father doesn't do anything without first telling me. It doesn't matter how important it is. My father always tells me. Why would my father refuse to tell me that he wants to kill you? No, it's not true. But David answered, you know very well that I am your friend. Your father knows very well I'm your friend. Your father said to himself, Jonathan must not know about it. If he knows, he will tell David. But as surely as you and the Lord are alive, I'm very close to death. Jonathan said to David, I'll do anything you want me to do. And David said, look, tomorrow's a new moon celebration. I'm supposed to eat with the king, but let me hide in the field until the evening. If your father notices I'm gone, tell him David wanted to go to Bethlehem. His family is having its own feast for this monthly sacrifice. David asked me to let him run to Bethlehem and join his family. If your father says fine, then I'm safe. But if your father becomes angry, you will know that he wants to hurt me. Jonathan, be kind to me. I'm your servant. You have made an agreement with me before the Lord. If I'm guilty, you may kill me yourself, but don't take me to your father. Saul must have been something brutal for David, a man of war, to be scared of Saul. Jonathan answered, no, never. If I learn that my father plans to hurt you, I'll warn you. David said, who will warn me if your father says bad things to you? Then Jonathan said, come, let's go out into the field. So Jonathan and David went to the field together. Jonathan said to David, I make this promise before the Lord, the God of Israel. I promise that I will learn how my father feels about you. I will learn if he feels good about you or not. Then in 3 days, I'll send a message to you in the field. If my father wants to hurt you, I'll let you know. I will let you leave in safety. May the Lord punish me if I don't do this. May the Lord be with you as he's been with my father. As long as I live, show me the same kindness the Lord does. If I die, never stop showing this kindness to my family. Be faithful to us, even when the Lord destroys all your enemies from the earth. So Jonathan made this agreement with David and his family. He asked the Lord to hold them responsible for keeping it. Jonathan loved David himself, and because of this love, he asked David to repeat this agreement for himself. Jonathan said to David, tomorrow is the new moon celebration. Your seat will be empty, so my father will see that you're gone. On the third day, go to the same place you hid when this trouble began. Wait by that hill. On the third day, I'll go to that hill and shoot 3 arrows as if I'm shooting at a target. Then I'll tell the boy to go find the arrows. What boy? If everything is fine, I will tell the boy, you went too far. The arrows are closer to me. Come back and get them. If I say that, you can come out of hiding. I promise, as surely as the Lord lives, you're safe. There's no danger. But if there's danger, I will say to the boy, the arrows are further away. Go get them. If I say that, you must leave. The Lord is sending you away. Remember this agreement between you and me. The Lord is our witness forever. Then David hid in the field. Saul's attitude at the celebration. The time for the new moon celebration came, and King Saul sat down to eat. He sat next to the wall where he usually sat. Jonathan sat across from him. Abner sat next to Saul, but David's place was empty. That day, Saul said nothing. He thought maybe something happened to David so that he's not clean. On the next day, the second day of the month, David's place was empty again. Then Saul said to Jonathan, why didn't Jesse's son come to the new moon celebration yesterday or today? Jonathan answered, David asked me to let him go to Bethlehem. He said, let me go. Our family is having a sacrifice in Bethlehem. My brother ordered me to be there. Now, if I'm your friend, please let me go and see my brothers. That's why David didn't come to the king's table. Saul was angry with Jonathan and said to him, you son of a twisted, rebellious one. Ooh, I guess Saul wanted to cuss, Lord. Saul wanted to cuss. You son of a twisted, rebellious woman. I know that you've chosen to support that son of Jesse. This will bring shame to you and to your mother. As long as Jesse's sons live, you will never be king and have a kingdom. Now bring David to me. He's a dead man. Jonathan asked his father, why should David be killed? What did he do wrong? But Saul, through his spirit, Jonathan tried to kill him. So Jonathan knew that his father wanted very much to kill David. Jonathan became angry and left the table. He was so upset and angry with his father that he refused to eat any food on the second day of the festival. He was angry because Saul humiliated him and because Saul wanted to kill David. David and Jonathan say goodbye. The next morning, Jonathan went out to the field to meet David as they agreed. Jonathan brought a little boy with him. He said to the boy, run, go find the arrows I shoot. The boy began to run, and Jonathan shot the arrows over his head. The boy ran to the place where the arrows fell, but Jonathan called, the arrows are further away. Then he shouted, hurry, go get them. Don't just stand there. The boy picked up the arrows and brought them back to his master. The boy knew nothing about what went on. Only Jonathan and David knew. Jonathan gave his bow and arrows to the boy and told him, go back to town. When the boy left, David came out of his hiding place on the other side of the hill. David gave a formal greeting by bowing to the ground 3 times to show his respect for Jonathan. But then David and Jonathan kissed each other and cried together. It was a very sad goodbye, especially for David. Then Jonathan said to David, go in peace. We've taken an oath in the Lord's name to be friends forever. We've asked the Lord to be a witness between us and our descendants forever. 1 Samuel 21, David goes to Ahimelech the priest. So David left and Jonathan went back to town. David went to the town of Nob to see Ahimelech the priest. Ahimelech went out to meet David. He was afraid of David and asked, why are you alone? Why isn't anyone with you? David answered him, the king gave me a special order. He told me, don't let anyone know about this mission. No one must know what I told you to do. Liar. That's a lie. I told my men where to meet me. Now, what food do you have with you? Give me 5 loaves of bread or whatever you have to eat. Now, you sat up here and lied, a lying wonder, and sitting here going to ask for some food. The priest said to David, I don't have any ordinary bread here, but I do have some holy bread. Your officers can eat it if they have not had sexual relations with any women. David answered the priest, we've not been with any women. My men keep their bodies holy every time we go to fight, even on ordinary missions, and this is especially true today. There was no bread except the holy bread, so the priest gave David this bread, and this was the bread that the priest put on the holy table before the Lord. Each day they took this bread away and put some fresh bread in its place. One of Saul's officers was there that day. He was Doeg the Edomite, the leader of Saul's shepherds. Oh, here we go. He had been kept there before the Lord. David said to Ahimelech, do you have a spear or sword here? The king's business is very important. I have to leave quickly, and I didn't bring my sword or any other weapon. The priest answered, the only sword here is the sword of Goliath, the Philistine. Is the sword you took from him when you killed him in the valley of Elah. That sword is behind the ephod wrapped in a cloth. You may take it if you want to. David said, Goliath's sword, there's not another one like it. Give it to me. David runs away to the enemy at Gath. That day, David ran away from Saul and went to the king Achash of Gath. Achash's officer said, isn't this David, the king of the land of Israel? He's one of the Israelites sing about. They dance and sing this about him. Saul has killed thousands of enemies. David has killed tens of thousands. David put close attention to what they said. He was afraid of King Achash of Gath, so he pretended to be crazy in front of Achash and his officers. While David was with him, he acted like a crazy man. He spat on the doors of the gate. He let spilt fall down his beard. Achash said to his officers, look at that man. He's crazy. Why'd you bring him to me? I have enough crazy men. I don't need you to bring this man to my house to act crazy in front of me. Don't let this man come into my house again. All right. This is the word of the Lord. Follow, like, share, and subscribe. Encourage others to do the same. Write in the comment section, this is the word of the Lord, and encourage others to join with us. Don't let that crazy man in my house again. That's a sermon. Don't let that crazy man in my house again.